Hi,
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Making sure everything is connected.
Okay.
I love your guitars. You play?
My husband does. I actually play the drums.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So, how are you?
I'm doing okay. I told you I just had the knee surgery, so I'm getting back into the swing of things. But
Yeah. Everything went okay with that?
yeah, it's just at the point where it's just a week, like a little over a week out. So you don't know if it's not at the point where it's like, oh, yeah, I feel great. I'm so glad
Yeah.
I'm done with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Healing.
still recovering.
Well, I'm glad it went good. And I'm glad
Thank
recovery
you.
is going okay. Um, Thank you for being up for meeting with me.
Yeah, I'm excited to do it. It's great. You are such a great supporter of the book, and I really appreciated your reading it.
Yeah, I was super excited to reach out to you. I know we connected over the story and our own stories with OCD.
Yeah,
Um, and I wouldn't have found it without Aardvark suggesting or sending me that in the book box, which was super cool.
they're great. I love their selections. They're so good at curating books,
Yeah, it felt
and
really special.
they feature a lot of debuts too, which is great. Like they actually want to find new voices, so I love that.
Yeah, definitely. They're a really cool subscription.
Yeah.
Um, this was one of the best psychological thrillers I've read. So
Oh, thank you,
yeah,
thank you, Heather.
I really wanted to do this and get to talk about it. So um,
I appreciate it.
yeah. So you know what you did was the first time I've seen real OCD represented in media. What inspired you to write it, and why did you choose a protagonist with OCD?
I was reading a lot of psychological thrillers and kind of horror in the vein of Joyce Carol Oates, Shirley Jackson, that type of kind of realistic psychological horror. And I wanted to write a book. And I thought, what is the scariest thing I could think of? What if my OCD, the thoughts that have been plaguing me all my life, what if those things that people tell you, oh, that's silly, that could never happen, or that's ridiculous? What if those things actually began to manifest themselves in real life around you? What if they actually happened and all at once? To me, that would be the scariest thing, the type of psychological horror. I don't
Yes,
know how you feel about it, but that sort of thing, something that could really happen, is much scarier to me than a monster or a demon. Um,
definitely.
and so I came up with that concept. I was just walking my dog one day and then I decided to try to write it. And it came really
Yeah.
easily because it's
Yeah.
based on my personal experience with OCD, which I have managed now, but it's based on those real thoughts, intrusive thoughts. And that's why I think that the portrayal really jumps off the page as being realistic because it is.
Yeah, definitely. For me, like even the first time I read it, it was almost kind of hard to get through it. I had to pick it up and put it
Yeah.
down several times because it was very relatable. Like a lot of it, I could see my own OCD like represented in Annie's own struggle with it. So that was, it did come across like very well, like to the point where, like I said, it was a struggle even to kind of get through it, but
Yeah.
like in the best way because I'm like, this is so relatable.
Yeah. Can I ask how your OCD manifests itself? You don't have
Yeah.
to share, but
Yeah. So a lot of it is rumination for me. And then it does come out in some compulsions, specifically with like checking and perfection.
okay.
But all that, it's like a constant thing of having that rumination. Constantly, my main thing is like wanting to make sure my family is safe.
Hmm.
And that's kind of that core thing at the heart of the OCD is wanting to make sure everyone is safe.
I think that even though OCD manifests itself in so many different ways, like people check, they hoard, they have different contamination concerns. I think we can all recognize the same cycle
Mhm.
of thoughts, being plagued by these intrusive thoughts telling you what you need to do, or what if this happens, what if that happens, I need to do this, I could just, if I do this, maybe it'll help with this, and the rituals and compulsions and that whole vicious cycle. I think we can all recognize it, even though my OCD might not look like yours on the surface.
Yeah.
I,
Like, specifically with Annie's discussed OCD, like I felt a lot of relation to that because specifically after the pandemic, my OCD kind of started really flaring with contamination OCD.
Mhm.
So a lot of that was, I could kind of see that in that.
I think in my case, it's it frustrated me because I didn't know a lot about OCD when I was in my teens or 20s. I didn't know anything about it except the few things I saw on TV.
Yeah,
And
same.
I always thought, well, I don't have OCD because I'm not scared of getting sick. Like it
Yeah.
was only portrayed as a fear of getting sick. And it wasn't that for me. So I thought, oh, well, I don't have OCD, not understanding that there are so many different ways OCD can manifest itself. But the pandemic, I think, the entire thing with washing your groceries and wiping off and being careful of door handles, I think it just gave people the teensiest taste into what goes on for people with contamination OCD on a daily basis.
Yep. Yeah. I was going to ask for you if you're comfortable with it. How does it represent and manifest for you? Is it kind of like in the book or is it different than that?
I think the book was, like, people might say it's difficult to read, it's visceral, it's disturbing, it's a little repetitive. OCD is repetitive.
Yep.
But in real life, my OCD, my thoughts, what's in the book is a tiny fraction of what I would say I experienced. And
Yeah.
I'm sure you understand this.
Yeah.
It's it, it's actually was much worse than that. But I was lucky because after my daughter was born, she was little. I didn't drive at all. I had to learn to drive, and um, OCD makes it difficult for a lot of people to drive because you think, oh, maybe what if I hit this person or what?
Yeah.
Like it's just debilitating. So I went to a specialist in Berkeley, one of the top, Michael Tompkins, one of the top OCD specialists, and he referred me to the Berkeley Therapy Institute. I lived in California at the time, Northern California, and I was lucky to live near there. And I have such a strong genetic component in my family. I don't know if this is why. I had tried a little bit of behavioral therapy, which I know is very effective. But for me, medication made the biggest difference.
Yeah.
And I was able to find the right medication. So I'm totally able to manage it now. I have the thoughts, like I can still, they still occur to me, but they're quieter, they're less frequent, and I don't have to obey them. There are some things I will do probably for the rest of my life. Like if I'm riding the subway, I come home, I change clothes, like, but that's manageable.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to go gallivanting around my house in clothes with the subway on. That's just not something I'm going to do. And I'm totally happy with that. But I can drive, I can do, you know, it's the medication for me, and seeing a specialist was life changing because before that, I didn't know. I thought maybe it was just depression, maybe it's just anxiety. Not just, but that it was anxiety or depression. And I had seen a couple of different talk therapists, like just talk, you know, they weren't specialized, they were general, like family therapists. And I found it really frustrating. And I was basically just not going to go anymore. And then I came upon these experts, and it made such a difference. And it really did save my life.
Yeah. That's really powerful. Yeah. I'm really glad that you were able to get it to a point where it's manageable for you.
Yeah.
For me, I'm still kind of in that, trying to find the right balance. I kind of have dual, so I have PTSD, depression, and OCD, and it's kind of trying to find that balance.
Well, it's very common that there are comorbidities, like there are things that go along with OCD, that, like depression. It's very common, and often one thing gets treated and not the other.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm happy. I think people need to find the right specialist or find the treatment that's right for them. I think that you wouldn't read my book and say, I don't intend it to be, oh, it's because my experience with finding the right medication, having it work so well
Mhm.
fairly quickly, like within 6 to 12 months, and it increased, like it got better and better because
Yeah.
it compounds itself. The treatment let me, I was able to start driving, and then I was able to drive farther, and it feeds off itself. But I don't want people to think, oh, well, that's not realistic, or I don't need to do exposure therapy then, or I don't need to do cognitive behavioral therapy. This isn't a how to, it's based on my personal experience. And I
Yeah.
think that's what everyone needs to, that's, I think with reading the book, it's kind of like giving you a view into another person's brain.
Yeah.
That's why I like psychological thrillers. They're still fun and like there's still engaging, but you get to empathize and see the window through someone else's perspective. Uh,
Exactly.
and all our experiences are different, but as a reader, I think you can read it and take what you need or want from it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Um, how did you ensure Annie's experience felt authentic? And were there any misconceptions you directly wanted to challenge about OCD?
Yeah. I mean, I worked with my editor at Dutton, and the one thing she said was the more specific and personal you can be in writing this, the more authentic it will be.
Yeah.
So I didn't try to portray all OCD or all different cases of people who are experiencing OCD. I just wrote what I had experienced and what I continue to manage. Um, in terms of misconceptions, I wanted to provide a really realistic example of OCD that jumped off the page and wasn't just like monk, like lighthearted,
Yeah.
like, oh, it's so quirky, or people who are so using it as an adjective, it's so OCD. I just line up my pencils. It's or portraying it as just this quirky good thing that actually is a good thing. It's
Yeah.
it's kind of dark, as you know. It isn't
Yeah.
necessarily a good thing. There are dark and awful thoughts that are swimming in your head all the time.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I did start from I did not by directly countering those perceptions necessarily, though it's mentioned in the book. I mostly wanted to portray a flip side.
Yeah. And that came across really well. Like, that's one thing that really frustrates me is most of media's representation of OCD is this comical, lighthearted, often, incorrect and possibly very damaging way.
And
And yeah,
I just think people don't understand when they see Monk doing those silly things and you're laughing along with him, or whoever on TV is
yeah,
doing it, that you are trapped there.
hmm,
Like you are checking the stove, you are doing whatever, and you are trapped there. And it's frustrating, it's tiring, and it's hard to have a full sense of self-esteem and be confident and competent to live. It's truly can be debilitating.
yeah. And that's like I've told other people, like, it, it's a lot of times people look at it like it's this thing that's easy or not that big of a deal. And like, if you wanted to spend an hour in my head, I don't think you would make it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not this simple, easy thing that's you can just, it's not something that everybody could deal with.
No, and I think people think that I don't know how to explain that it actually has. There's the more and more they're studying it, they find that different parts of your brain are actually can be in different formations. Like it's an
Yeah.
actual like disorder. It's not a silly quirk.
Yeah, exactly. Um, the next thing, kind of going into the way the novel progresses, how did you navigate revealing clues while keeping the readers unsure of what was real? Because a lot
Well,
of
it's
that is you're
yeah.
not sure what's going on.
I wanted to get across. I think the unreliable narrator works in this book because I don't. Depending on severity of OCD, my OCD was pretty severe. Though I think I did a good job hiding it out professionally a lot of my life. It's called nicknamed the doubting disease because you doubt yourself constantly. And you can be at the point where you go through these ruminations, you have the intrusive thoughts, and you don't know, like you can question where your body was. It's like, did I touch this? Did I brush against the doorknob? Did I touch that trash can? It, you don't know. You doubt yourself constantly. And I think self doubt is something that in the book, Annie has, because of her OCD, it's really magnifies the experience, but also women, mothers in general, experience a lot of self doubt, second guessing yourself, questioning yourself. And I wanted to play into those themes of self doubt in using the kind of trope of the unreliable narrator. So it's not that you read a lot of the cases where it's the unreliable narrator because they're drunk or whatever.
Yeah.
This is a different kind of approach to it, I think.
Yeah, and that came across really well, and I feel like really powerful, specifically for me, seeing that, because you can question, okay, is this really something that's happening, or is this her OCD manifesting? And then really questioning that, and that came across really well, and I like that in the theme of an unreliable narrator.
And one thing I wasn't sure about, I mean, it's my first book, it's a debut. I wanted to get across the unreliable narrator, but the books I like to read are kind of books where you're reading the first quarter or first third and you don't know what's going on at all. Because I read a lot of mysteries and thrillers, so I like the fever dream weird, like what is happening. For example, I love Bunny.
Yes.
I just like weird books like that. So I think in some ways I wanted it to be really destabilizing and kind of like, where is this going? But I think some traditional thriller readers, this is confusing. I don't like this, which I mean is fair. You don't have to like everything, but it was intentional. Like I wanted it to be kind of like slippery realities. You don't know what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you like that kind of like weird book, maybe it's for you.
Yeah, definitely. Have you read any Lucinda Berry?
I haven't, and I know I should. I think I might have. I don't know if I messaged you about those ones because people recommend it, and I want to. I know they're dark. I know they're psychological thrillers. Are they? Why do you think I would like them?
I feel like she does such a good job with psychological thrillers because she has that background in psychology.
I didn't know that actually.
Yeah.
She's a psychologist? Okay.
Psychologist or psychiatrist.
Okay.
I can't remember which one. I should know this, but her background is in that before she became like a full-time author. So it's like she knows what she's talking about like in these books, and I feel like it comes across really accurate and you're really in the story, and also you don't know what's going on like a lot of the time. But my favorite, and I think my first, was The Perfect Child, and that's
I've seen that.
like, the evil child trope. But
I love that trope, by the way. So don't spoil it because I do want to read them. But I love that trope. I didn't know she was a psychiatrist or psychologist. I just knew she looks really cool and that she writes really dark books.
Yes. Yeah. So that's kind of my go-to recommendation, for like an author with a big backlist.
Okay.
But I've liked everything I've read from her. And I feel like that, is a big part of why I think everything comes across so strongly and so well, is because she has that background. And so she's writing from that.
Have you read Sharon Bolton? She's British.
I have not.
She wrote The Pact and a bunch of other books. She's really dark and kind of witchy, and I really like her. Her name is Sharon Bolton. I just discovered her like last couple months. She's been writing a long time, but she's new to me, author.
I'll have to definitely check her out. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Without spoiling anything, did you always know the final reveal, or did it emerge while you were writing?
I did know the final reveal, there was debate at one point when the book was farther along and I was discussing it with my agent about maybe switching it.
Yeah.
So it was my intention that this was the story because it made sense with who Annie was emotionally and the psychology of her character and her relationship with her mother and other family members. I thought it made the best sense.
Yeah.
Did it make sense to you?
Yes.
It's so hard to talk about it without
Yes.
spoiling. Because some people feel, I get reviews, either people think it ranges from it makes total sense, it's too obvious, to it makes no sense, it's out of left field, which is weird to me.
To me, it was kind of both. Well, I had red flags.
Mm-hmm.
I had some red flags in the back of my head, and I'm like, okay, but I didn't see that coming. I wasn't expecting what happened to happen. And when it happened, I was like, oh my God. But in the best way, like, this resolved really well. Like, so I think it's kind of both of those. Like, I didn't see it coming, but also I feel like it ended perfectly.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I ask your opinion on the structure of the book? So the first half has more family drama. It's slower. I wanted to immerse people in her OCD, but it is a tougher read. The first half, it's more traumatic, I guess. And then the second half is more of a traditional thriller, and it goes really fast in my mind. What do you think? Which half did you prefer, or do you think?
Honestly, I think both. Like, I like both halves for different reasons. So I love the first half because it immerses you in that experience. And I feel like, especially if you're someone without OCD, it kind of gives you that glimpse into what this is actually like. And if you do have OCD, then it's kind of, you're relating with Annie. So I really appreciate the first half for that. But then also the second half is really, it kind of starts going and kind of goes off. And like, I was already hooked from the first half specifically for what was going on. But I feel like that second half, like it went really well. And I feel like the structure went in the perfect way that it needed to for the story to evolve where it went.
I really loved writing the second half. I feel like the next book I write might be more like that pace throughout. The first book, every debut writes, is a little different because so often it's based on your personal experience and it's very, very personal. And then the next one has personal elements, but it's more of a, departure.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I liked both halves. Like, if I had to choose one or the other, I would say the first half, just because I feel like it's really representational. Yeah.
I don't remember how old I was. In my 20s when I read this book. That was the first time when I knew I had OCD, and it really spoke to me. It's called Just Checking. It's actually more of a memoir.
I haven't read that.
Just Checking. And because I never had talked to anyone who had OCD, I didn't tell people I had OCD. I wasn't even sure, and you deny how bad it is or how just disabling it can be. And I read this book and I saw myself on the page and I just couldn't believe it. It was a woman who she couldn't have people over to her house, and it was so difficult because she had contamination-based OCD. Yeah. And then at the end, she has treatment, and it's her real story. At the end, she's able to have a friend over, and it's such a monumental experience. And at the time, I was reading it thinking, I'm never going to be able to do that. That's crazy. Yeah. And, 2 to 3 million people in the US now at any given time are experiencing levels of OCD. But the majority of people obviously think what we're saying is silly. I once saw a talk therapist who said I had trouble grocery shopping. Like, I'd wash my groceries, but I couldn't buy like things from the bakery that were out in the open. Yeah. Because who touched it, what happened. And she said her I talked to her, and then the exercise for me, she gave me homework was to go and just buy a baguette. Like, just eat it. Like,
Yeah.
that's the whole point. You can't.
Yeah,
It's not a
exactly.
will. It's not like you're. If I could do that, I wouldn't have been sitting there talking to her.
Yeah,
I was,
exactly.
and that's my hope is that people read this and understand a little bit more, empathize a bit more with what OCD is and can be.
Yeah. Did you, I hope, if this is too personal, you can tell me, but did you do exposure response therapy, or what specialty did you do for your therapy?
I did very little because I didn't know that I had OCD.
Yeah.
So all throughout, it wasn't until really my daughter was born and I tried, not a lot, a little bit only, I would say a few months.
Okay.
But then I went to the specialist and he started me on the medication.
Okay.
And I responded really, really well to that.
Yeah.
And I think just as a natural course, I was able to expose myself to a lot more and push myself because of the medication.
Yeah.
And that's just my personal path. I know it's more rare, but I'll be taking this medication for the rest of my life, and I'm perfectly happy with that. Like every day, because it just allows me to do things that are difficult for
Yeah.
me.
I feel like my medication kind of brings it to a manageable level at most points, but at the same time, I have a lot of work to do to
Yeah,
get to where I would like to be with it.
yeah.
I haven't done exposure response therapy. I did some EMDR for trauma, and I feel like that may have reared up the OCD a little bit more.
Oh, yeah.
And that could be different for everyone. But my current therapy, I just got a new therapist, and we're doing IFS, which I
What is
hadn't
that?
heard of before.
Yeah.
It's internal family systems. So what it started out as, I believe, was working in family therapy. But, and I'm not probably going to be great at describing this because I'm still kind of learning about it.
Right.
But they took what they would use in like group therapy with families, and they kind of found that it works for a singular person.
Okay.
And you're looking at all the parts of yourself as like these family members, but instead
Okay.
they're the parts of yourself. And you're kind of trying to work with each of those. Like you have the manager or the main wise self that is your core person, and then you have all these parts. So like the OCD is a part,
Yeah.
the trauma is a part, the depression is a part, and you're trying to work with each of these parts. So we did one session where we specifically tried to talk to the OCD, and we only did one session, and we decided we're going to do more learning of the actual process before we go into it more. But I felt like that was really helpful and powerful for myself because we kind of reached the core of what OCD, what that part of it, of myself wants. And it's to protect. And I feel like I've always looked at it like this thing where it's like, no, I need to get rid of the OCD. I need to control it. I need to, eradicate it. But I'm not going to like eradicate it. I'm going to have OCD for the rest of my life. It's just about managing it.
I think it's about managing it and determining how much you want to listen to it. And I
Yeah.
think what you're describing to me is valuable. It would be valuable to me in terms of knowing that the OCD isn't me.
Yeah.
It's just a part, like it's there.
Hmm.
It's in the room, it's there, but I don't have to listen to it. And
Exactly.
that's something that looking back at a point where I'm grateful to have my OCD managed, I can look back and say, there are so many aspects of my life that were controlled by OCD, or
Yeah.
things that I thought were traits of myself, just inherent traits of me that were actually like this other person in the room, kind of,
Yeah.
the OCD.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I hear what you're saying with that, and I think of that. Does your husband have OCD? I don't know if you don't want to talk about it, but
No,
I
that's
know
okay.
it
He
was
doesn't.
challenging for my husband because he doesn't have it. Yeah,
Yeah, my husband doesn't. He has bipolar, but he doesn't have OCD. So it is kind of this thing where trying him seeing me deal with this is really hard,
yeah,
obviously, and trying to manage it. I feel like IFS is kind of also helping me kind of give me a way to kind of talk about it, if that makes sense.
it does. That's why I was wondering when you mentioned the IFS. It kind of seemed like it could help with discussing it with family members because I know
Yeah.
it was really, really like it requires a lot of patience on the part of your family members
Yeah.
and
But
understanding.
it's hard trying to describe it if you don't have the right kind of framework to describe what's going on in your head.
Yeah,
But yeah, he's been my rock through everything. And like I couldn't I wouldn't be here without him and I couldn't do what I'm doing without him.
yeah.
So that's been a huge help.
Do you think that we read and write about these dark things because it's a safe way to experience them, and in the end, it's not. There's going to be a resolution, and it's
Absolutely. Like
yeah,
it's a safe way. Like I didn't really have horror when I was a kid. I found it more as an adult. And reading too. Like I fell out of love with reading from childhood because I had a really rough childhood, but I found my love for that again. And I feel like that is my main reason for loving reading and thrillers and the dark and horror
yeah,
because it gives me a safe framework to process through these emotions and these feelings and knowing that it's safe. Like
yeah.
the things in the book or the movie can't hurt me. And this is a way that I can experience this.
I couldn't read dark fiction, horror, or psychological thrillers until my OCD was treated
Yeah.
because I worked in a public library as a teenager, my part time job, and it was physically really difficult for me to shelve the books that were about true crime
Yeah.
or serial killers or horror because I thought I was somehow contaminating. I was touching the blood, like it was a contamination thing. And after my OC was treated, and it happened to be, and also during the pandemic, I just found myself drawn to these books. And I don't think I would have been able to read these things before my OCD was treated because of my specific contamination OCD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's even more relatable for me too. Like maybe that is kind of a part of why I didn't really delve into horror until, the last few years. Specifically when I was a kid. My first memory of having OCD, I believe I was like in 7th grade. It's kind of hard to pinpoint
Yeah.
because of my experience. I was homeschooled and very isolated
Mm.
from reality. And I remember experiencing it for the first time. I was trying to read a school book and I was rereading the passage over and over and over again. And it wasn't like I felt like I had to keep doing that to make sure that I was safe.
Yeah.
And no matter how many times I read it or how I read it, it wasn't working. And I didn't get treatment for my OCD as a child. It was labeled as my parents viewed it as I was being persecuted by the devil.
Oh no. Oh
So,
no. I can't imagine that layer added to it.
yeah, so I never got help for any of my mental health issues when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So it's kind of been this process as an adult working through all this stuff, but I didn't actually get like clinically diagnosed with OCD until a few years ago. I kind of always knew it was something that I was dealing with, but never got that diagnosis.
It wasn't that you just that you didn't get treatment for your OCD. You had something else laid on top of it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, that's difficult.
It was a lot
Yeah.
between the religious trauma and the regular trauma, and then dealing with the OCD. It
Did
was
you
a
ever end up having the religious based OCD
oh
where
yeah,
you,
yeah.
oh,
It was
yeah.
that was a big component of it when I was a kid, was the religious scrupulosity,
Yes.
and that was a big reason why it was kind of looked at and labeled as, no, you're not you're not unwell, or you're not dealing with something, you're just being persecuted by the devil. It's that you're being sinful. It's that,
Right.
yeah, it was a me problem, and it was a, I am not like holy enough, or I did something wrong to cause this.
I think the religious scrupulosity is not also not something the most people know about at
Yeah.
all or understand,
Yeah.
or even would ever think that it's OCD.
It's even kind of hard to talk about it because, like, I look back on that and I don't know, I didn't have the framework to process what was happening.
No. Yeah,
Like,
no, of course not.
to me, I did believe back then that that's what was happening because that's what everyone was telling me. So yeah, it's weird to look back on the way that OCD has kind of shifted in the way that it manifests in my own life.
Yeah, I think there is so much room for public enlightenment in terms of OCD. The idea of I have contamination based OCD, you have had experienced the religious scrupulosity, but it's both the idea of the mental contamination. I didn't want to touch these books about true crime and serial killers because I felt like it was contaminating me or it was somehow in my head. And I
Yeah.
would have a picture, like a drawing that I liked, or different pictures, and I'd feel like I had to look at it. And I'd look at it till my eyes zoned out. And then each time, maybe it works a couple times, but then the next time you have to do it more and longer in different ways. It just compounds, it gets worse and worse and worse, and it doesn't, you're never relieved.
Yeah,
But
exactly. Like, I don't consider myself religious now, so that might be a big part of why it doesn't manifest that way for me anymore.
yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely a lot.
And it's interesting because there are these things that you so associate with what you thought was your personality. And I will do book events now. I'll speak in front of crowds, and people. It's kind of awful. It's like, oh, you're funny, or you're delightful. I want to get your book. My book is not funny, or
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it a delightful book. It's a pretty dark book.
Yeah. I feel like that's a good thing though. Like, you can put it all in the book, and
Yeah.
but also, like, you do have a really good personality. Yeah. Specifically for readers who might see themselves in Annie's own struggles, what do you hope they take away after finishing the book?
I think if you see yourself in the book, I hope you feel a sense of relief or a feeling that you're not alone. That's how I felt after I found that book, just checking. I was blown away. I couldn't believe there was another person in the world who
Yeah.
was experiencing these things and had these same challenges. And that you can get to a point where, as we discussed, you separate the OCD from yourself.
Hmm.
Like it's there, it's in the corner, it's the room all the time. It follows. It's not you, though. I think that can be very powerful, and I hope that you can reach a point where you're honest with yourself if it is debilitating, or you're honest about how much it affects your life, and that you can find someone who specializes in OCD treatment. I know the International OCD Foundation, there are a lot of groups that have websites, and they have listings of specialists in each area, OCD specialists so that you can get diagnosed and find a treatment plan that works for you.
Yeah.
Because it isn't easy. And as we said, there are a lot of comorbidities, like things that go along with OCD a lot of times.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like this is kind of a broader aspect, but one thing I've kind of struggled with is not being able to access an OCD specialist because of my own insurance.
Yeah.
But I feel like having that community and having that sense of, the OCD Foundation, or finding books or media, or even like TikTok, was a big help in my own kind of in the middle of really struggling with it, because seeing other people who are going through the same thing is helpful to not feel so alone.
It's one of the few positive sides of social media, I guess.
Yeah.
Even if you can find message boards or groups, Discord groups, whatever, with people who are experiencing the same thing, that can be really powerful as well.
Definitely.
I didn't have that when I was growing up, so
yeah,
I'm old.
Yeah. Social media is relatively new for me as far as Instagram too. So that's kind of been a big help too.
Yeah, I've seen some of the TikTokers speaking about their personal experiences with OCD, and it's great. I'm glad that there are people out there who might be teenagers or in your 20s and you never knew you had it, and then you're seeing this and realizing that you can be healthy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Kind of going into like, are you currently working on anything new, or what are your future plans?
I'm kind of working on two things. My agent doesn't know.
Okay.
I have one project that my agent's really excited about, that I'm working on, but I'm also working on a second project. The thing is that when I have to kind of write things in one shot, or I lose interest.
Yeah.
And so I am working on a couple different things. I'm hoping to have one of the projects done this month or early next month. So, but it's a long road. You get it to the agent and they go to the editor, and it's a long process. But I'm not planning to be someone who turns out a book a year, like a popcorn thrillers. I want to have like kind of a more substantial book. Well, not substantial, just I guess I want to take my time writing it a bit more.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
That's super exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. No, I definitely, I've written a lot of short stories in the last year, and I really love doing those and then reading them in public, because it's such a pure experience. You write it, like I write it in 1 or 2 days, and then I go and read it. And it's really cool. There's not this long process, because when you do a book, it's like, 6 months of edits, and then then it takes time to go out.
Yeah, that's super fun. Are you ever considering publishing the short stories that you have written?
I just recently submitted them to, there are some, the Dark Yonder is one publication, Dark Yonder, another is Ellery Queen Mystery Magazine, Alfred Hitchcock. There are a few different publications that take short stories. So I've submitted them, and we'll see.
Nice. Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see what the future holds for you.
Thank you. Can I ask where the little ones are?
They are in the other room. They already got put away for sleep. But if you want, I could really quick grab one of them or a couple of them and show you.
Do you have two?
We have three.
Okay.
We have three. Okay. I'll be right back.
Out the break.
Okay.
Hi.
This is Lumen. She's our littlest and youngest. I think
she's so sweet.
She just turned 2, but she's our little troublemaker. But
Do they run wild or do they have to stay in a certain part?
So we have 2 rooms that we let them free roam for between like 4 and 6 hours a day. And then the rest of the time they have a big, oh, don't do
Enclosure.
that. Yeah, they have a like 3-story ferret nation cage. So they
Oh
have
my
lots
gosh.
of room. They have lots of room to chill
He's
and play in there.
adorable. Are they really smart pets?
Yeah, they are. They're super fun. They're super smart. They love to hoard their own little things. So, like, they have their toys, they have their
Oh,
treats, they have their food. She specifically, whenever I fill their food in the morning, the other two will be sitting there munching on food. She'll just grab mouthfuls and bring them up to the top of their enclosure and like
oh.
store it.
Do the other bigger ones eat her food? Is that why or no?
No,
Is she
like
like,
they're good about sharing. It's just
oh,
she's got that
she's a,
temperament where she wants to just store stuff for later, I guess.
oh
I,
no.
I mean, the food is always there. The food is like they ca- they free eat, so like we always have food and water for them.
Okay.
But she just likes storing her food. It's just a quirk of hers.
Dog could never free eat. She was, she's so cute.
Oh, come back. But
She's
yeah,
adorable. I'm glad I got to meet her.
yeah,
Now I'll recognize her when you post. Well, no, it's Lumen.
yeah. Um, I would bring the other two, but Amber's kind of in a dead sleep right now, and I can't find
No, yeah.
Dexter. He's like hiding right now in the enclosure. So I'll be right back. I take it back. My husband found him.
Dexter?
This is
Oh,
Dexter. He's
he's
our big boy.
handsome. What was he
He,
doing?
um,
Just hiding?
I think he was just hiding. He likes to sleep on the very top, and I can't see up there without a stepladder.
Oh, wow,
So
it's that big?
yeah, he's
Oh,
he's our big boy. He's according to records, he's 2, but we think he's a lot older. Because he was pretty big when we got him. Like they said, he was only 6 months, but we're pretty sure he was a lot older.
he's so cute.
Yeah, he's our big boy. We call him our raccoon because he's huge.
He looks like
Yeah.
but they all get along. That's great.
Yeah, they didn't for a while. We lost Matilda and we had Amber and Poncho. And then we went and we got Lumen. You gonna chill for me? No? Okay. I'll be right back. I'm gonna put him back to sleep. I think he was antsy because he immediately went to the litter box.
Oh, it was hilarious because you asked, "Are you going to chill for me?" And he looked you dead in the eye.
Yeah. He's really funny. He's kind of a mama's boy. Like he's really weird about his personal space, but I've kind of worked with him over time to kind of be able to kind of be comfortable like in each other's faces, but I think he has some trauma from before we got
Did
him.
you adopt him?
We got him from a pet store, but
Oh, okay.
the way that ferrets work in the US is kind of weird. Marshall Ferret Company kind of has a lockdown on ferrets. So that's kind of the only place that's reachable
Oh,
for us to be able to get ferrets. But at the time that we got Lumen and Dexter, we got Lumen. They were not getting along. So we had to keep Poncho and Amber separate because Amber was just being a bully. So we ended up getting Dexter, but we're pretty sure that he's a lot older because when we got him, he was bigger. He had some sores on his feet. And I think what happened was possibly they had a distemper outbreak in their facility. And I don't know if he he survived through that and they put him out for adoption, but said that he was younger than he was because he's a lot bigger and he has, there were some things that were kind of like, I don't think you're actually 6 months old. Like, I think you're a lot older. So I think he's a lot older. I think he's been through some stuff and seen some stuff. So he kind of has his own little personality, but it's very much he likes his personal space, which is
You said
valid.
that in a scary way, like the movie Orphan,
Oh God,
where
no.
I'm like, that's just not like an orphan.
No, no. He's good. He's really good. He's really cute. He has a really good temper and a really good manner, but he likes having his own space. So like he
Mhm.
doesn't like you being in his face, and he doesn't like anything near his face. I don't know why that just happened.
I was like, that was so weird because you said near your face. Is it voice controlled?
I don't know. I got this camera. It's an OBS camera, and I think it has
It
smart
must be voice
features.
controlled. That's crazy.
Or because I just went with my hands like that, and maybe it was like, oh, I'm going to zoom in. I don't know, but that kind of weirded me
That
out
now I'm scared.
because we were just talking about Orphan, and then
Yes.
that happened.
And then,
I
well, I'm
don't
glad
know.
I got to meet them.
Yeah, um, they're the best. Like we've kind of gone back and forth. Do we want to keep getting ferrets? But I think we're finally at that point where yeah, we want to. We're a ferret family.
Okay.
But the last question I was going to ask you before I let you go, tell me the last book that really stuck with you.
Last book that stuck with me. Well, I read a book but it's not coming out till February. So should I not say it?
You could you could totally name drop it.
Because they can pre-order. It's this
Yeah.
book called, I don't know if you've seen it, Warning Signs.
I
It's
don't know if I've
by
seen
the
it.
author of Night Watching. Did you see Night Watching? It
Mm-mm.
came out last year. That was like a home invasion kind of social commentary story by Tracy Sierra.
Okay.
And this is her second book. It's called Warning Signs, and it's set in the Colorado mountains. And it's about, it's from the perspective of I think he's 12, like a young boy, and his mother dies. And his dad is one of those toxic billionaires. And the dad takes him on this kind of like guy ski trip with a bunch of other his friends. And it's really scary and also just really emotional and moving because
Yeah.
it is from the little boy's perspective. And he's trying to navigate this really scary, dangerous situation where he's isolated on a hilltop, a mountaintop, not a hilltop, a mountaintop in Colorado during a big snowstorm.
That sounds really good and honestly really perfect for the weather right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's really good. It's a quick read. I read it in two sittings because
Okay.
it got really late and I went to sleep for a few hours. But
Yeah.
I like to read things all at once, and I tend to be a binge reader, a binge watcher too. I
Yeah.
don't know about, are you a binge watcher for shows?
Definitely a binge
No.
watcher. As far as reading, if I have the audiobook, I can fly through it. But
Yeah.
if I have to sit and read with my eyes, it takes me a little bit longer.
I do mostly audiobooks now, and that's just a transition in the last 2 years
Yeah.
because of writing, maybe 3 years. I just get tired of looking at the screen, like my eyes get tired. So I do
Yeah.
audiobooks. Then there are certain, occasionally books where I feel like I have to read it, like it's just a better experience.
Yeah, definitely. I kind of have that mood reading and then also like kind of mood deciding like am I going to do this audiobook or do I want to sit and actually read this and highlight it?
What's the one book that blew you away recently that you'd recommend? One that you think I'd like, because I want an actual recommendation from you.
Um, Let me think here. Talking about this was a while ago that I read this, but I think you would like Nestlings by Nat
Oh, by
Cassidy.
Nat Cassidy. I
Or
haven't read. Yeah, I
not
haven't read it.
Nestlings is really good, but then the one that I actually was going to say, but Nestlings came out of my mouth, When the Wolf Comes Home, because that's partially from the little boy's perspective as well.
Okay,
And
that's Nat
that,
Cassidy too.
yep, and
Okay,
that one really hit me and really stuck with me and is one of my favorite books. But it deals a lot with trauma and family trauma, and specifically with difficult father relationships.
Okay.
So that one really stuck with me. But
I will try them.
immediately,
I
that's what popped in my head when you
Yeah.
mentioned your recommendation.
Well, I really did want to read Nestle's. I've been wanting to read that one because I just hear such great things about it, but I
Yeah,
haven't yet.
both are really good. Like I've loved everything I've read from Nat. Rest Stop is also really creepy
Okay.
and really gross, but
Okay.
I liked it. It's a short story,
Now I want to read.
but it's very heavy on body horror and really
Yeah.
like there's a lot of gross scenes.
Okay.
Like there's a part with a septum piercing that
Uh-huh.
kind of made me really uncomfortable with my own septum piercing for a while. And I'm like, I don't know if I can wear this anymore because there was a part where it was really like something happens to a person with a septum piercing and a part
Okay.
that it's very body horror heavy.
I don't think that's gonna bother me. If that's,
Yeah.
I don't think mine is more like skin things. I don't like skin things.
Yeah. That's
Bumps.
just that's just one of the things, but
Okay.
it's this guy who's again it's with like father trauma, but he's
Uh,
on a road trip to get to family and he ends up kind of locked in a rest stop bathroom for part of it and he's
okay.
having to fight his way out, but there's part of it that's like psychological and part of it that's
Uh,
actual like
mhm.
stuff happening, but there's bugs, there's a lot of blood, there's a lot of body horror, and specifically that septum thing stuck with me. But yeah.
That's kind of what rest stop bathrooms are like in my imagination, anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of creatures and a lot of bugs that I don't want to ruin it, but
No,
the
I want to read
bathroom
this.
is very terrifying and I
Okay,
haven't looked at rest stop bathrooms the same since
the
I read
same.
that.
Well, for the recommendation.
Yeah.
And happy holidays too, by the way.
You too.
You
Thank you so
celebrate.
much for meeting with me. And I feel like we talked a lot about we talked about a lot of different topics, and I feel like it was a very needed and a very good discussion. So thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And
Yeah.
I'm so glad we connected during my debut year experience.
Yeah. And I can't wait to see what you come out with next.
Thank you. Thanks,
So
Heather.
yeah. Have a good holidays and I hope healing continues to go well for
Yeah,
you.
I think it will. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Have a good rest of your weekend.
Okay, we'll be in touch.
Bye.
Bye.